Dabawenyos, Pilipinas, welcome to another episode of Basta Dabawenyo. Dabawenyos, Pilipinas, we have a special episode tonight. Dili man gyud maayo ang mga paghitabo recently, but out of respect and courtesy, mo greet gihapon ko og maayong gabi sa inyong tanan, no? O kauban gihapon nato ang Mayor sa Davao City, Mayor Baste Duterte. Mayor, may gabi. Tonight we have invited two brilliant lawyers, no, to join us sa atong discussion karong gabi na, Mayor, to help us na magpasabot sa atong mga kaigsuunan labi na dinhi sa Davao City, no. Sa ating mga kababayan, huwag po kayo mag-alala dahil magkakaroon po tayo ng subtitle po sa episode na ito. Mayor, to help us explain sa atong mga kaigsuunan unsa gyud ning mga paghitabo karon from a legal perspective. Una na dira kaning kinsa ba ning International Criminal Court, ang legalities, no, sa nahitabong pag-aresto kang PRRD, o sa mga uban pang legal questions na atong nadawat gikan sa atong mga subaybay sa atong programa. Una na dira, Mayor, atong makauban ang atong abogada gikan pa sa Mandaue City, Cebu, Attorney Regal Oliva.
Maayong gabi. Good evening.
Attorney, salamat kaayo sa
Salamat sa pag-imbitar ninyo na ako.
For flying in all the way from Cebu.
Of course. It's an honor.
Of course, one of the best lawyers din sa Davao City, ang atong kauban pod, Attorney Dinah Tolentino-Fuentes.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for inviting me, Mayor Harvey.
Thank you, Attorney Dinah. So we have two lawyers, Mayor, joining us tonight. Let's go straight to the first question, no? Kani siya ang gusto gyud masabtan sa kadaghanan, attorneys. Kinsa ba gyud ning International Criminal Court kun ICC, o unsa ba gyud ilang role o jurisdiction sa ilang mga member states? Kana ang atong sugdan nga pagpaklaro. Attorney Regal.
Okay, kaning International Criminal Court is an offshoot gyud sa so many courts, international courts nga gipang create after World War II. Kani manggong after Adolf Hitler, when he had genocide among all the Jews, no, gipapatay niya tanan, murag wa gyud isa ka korte nga atong sangatanan sa mga kaso nga ingon ani. But it was only in 1998 when the Rome Statute was formulated, and it was only then nga 2001 nga kuan siya sa mga supported by 60 and ratified by 60 states. But the Philippines was only a member of the ICC on November 1, 2011. So kana gyud ang International Criminal Court is to really hear only very limited cases, and these are crimes against humanity, genocide, and other aggression, war aggression. So kana siya.
Thank you, Attorney Regal. Attorney Dinah, kinsa ba ang mga membro ang pwedeng mahimong membro sa ICC? Kay we all know not all countries, no, dili tanan membro ani.
There are many countries, no, sa tanang continents that are members, pero notable, dili miyembro ang US. Dili siya miyembro, dili po yata miyembro ang, I'm not sure if Israel is a member or not.
No, not a member.
No, since it's not a member, it's kind of questionable nga kaning mga big states are not members. And yet it is the small states like us who are members of this country, of this ICC.
Correct.
Pero ubay-ubay na po ang daghan nga members, ha. There's about 120 members. Pero the biggest countries, Russia, US, China, India, they're not members.
They're not. Karon I think murag 196 na yata ang members. Oo.
Yes, Mayor.
No, I mean, what could be the reason nga nung ang mga kaning mga states na ginatawag nato or kaning mga countries nga naga-pa-member sila sa ICC?
Ang reason sa United States nga di sila pa member, Mayor, kay di sila ganahan nga ilang military mo'y i-subject for ICC cases. And because kaning US baya are kuan gid sila, aggressive sila when it comes to war, especially if it's against the ideology of the United States of America, like anti-democratic countries. Katong gibuhat nila sa Afghanistan, etc. So they could be subject for ICC.
But were they a member before?
No,
Never.
never.
Okay, I see.
Same with Russia, India, China. They were never members, precisely because of the fact that they have military might. And so they want to be able to do things their own way without having their sovereignty questioned under an international court.
Okay. From that point, attorneys, no, simple sa laktod nga pagkastorya, dili obligado ang mga nasod nga mahimong membro ana.
No.
Dili.
Okay.
Dili.
Okay. Dili bot pasabot nga kung dili membro ka sa ICC, dili nagagana ang inyong justice system sa inyong sariling country.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So I think
Ang kon lagid plus ragid anang mag-member tag ICC nalagid tay more diplomacy
Okay.
to other countries who are members also. And since we are also establishing very good diplomatic relations with other countries, that's why nagpa-member pud ta ana. That was the vision of the late President Noynoy Aquino nganong nagpa-member pud siya ng ICC.
correct.
So, ang ato ang gusto mabawaan na ni siguro by the end of this discussion, may bawaan na to kung appropriate ba ang intervention sa ICC aning
Correct.
case ni PRRD,
Correct.
PRRD.
That is right. So before kumuad to der mayor, no, pasadahan lang nato. So what is the process of the ICC's attorney? What's next now sa step ba kay other people are saying na it will take years, minimum 8 years na nadagan na kaso. So in this case, Karen, sa kay PRRD, we are now at the bago lang nahuman ng pre-trial and they've set the confirmation of charges in September. So
Yes.
after ana unsa ba atong ma-anticipate sa pinagi sa ilang timeline?
After they've set the confirmation of charges is set in September. This is when they will inform the President Duterte, oh, these are the charges against you. But as of now kasi sa warrant kasi there were 3 charges but only one was given a warrant of arrest katong murder. So I think it will just devolve there unless previous to that the prosecution will find other charges in which it ma-amend na pod ang mga charges. We hope not, no? But that is basically now what President Duterte is facing, murder charges. I will not call him former President Duterte because to me, he is my president. Klarohon lang nako, ha?
To a lot
Okay.
of us.
Exactly.
Yes,
A lot of
yes.
us.
So, what will happen there is after the charges are confirmed in September, then trial will begin by the prosecution. But this will be a long way off kay unsa pa man September pa man. Although I really hope that President Duterte will be able to get an interim release. But it will depend on his lawyers.
Yes, yes. Pwede man guna, pwede na but from now until September, President Duterte can already apply for interim release. The thing is, the judge no of the ICC nga nag-hear atong first pre-trial hearing ni order na sa prosecution na immediately you should already present your evidences immediately. In other words, the defense and the prosecution should already be studying before September 23. Kaya kung September 23, the prosecution cannot present a substantial case that will move to the trial, then automatically by September 23, the case will be dismissed.
Okay. So there are two ways na may tabo in September. It's either the trial will proceed or the case will be dismissed altogether,
Yes, yes.
depending on the kaning evidences
Correct.
nga mag-gather sa prosecution. Tama?
Yes.
Okay, that's clear. We will discuss further kaning sa remedies and sa legalities, attorneys and mayor, no? But for now, diri ta sa membership sa Philippines. Because now, it is a fact that the Philippines, dili na ta membro sa ICC. So, kanus abat ta nagpa-member ani o kanus ata ni kalas. And sa atong pag-withdraw, what is now our obligation bagyod kung naaman sa ICC? Attorney Dinah.
I think we became a member in 2011 because that is when the court was able to acquire, because that is what the court is saying that the jurisdiction over the case has happened. November 2011 up to 2019 when we withdrew, when the withdrawal of the Philippines from the Rome Statute became effective. So, these are the times that they are saying that the crimes are committed, which is why didto lang yun. No more
Mahulog.
beyond November, beyond 2019.
Okay.
So, but then we withdrew in 2019. So, supposedly, dili na ta under sa Rome Statute.
Okay.
The ICC no longer has jurisdiction over us.
Thank you, Attorney.
Yeah.
Attorney Regal, so what does that mean now?
I would agree. In 2011, when President Duterte was still the mayor, 2011 to 2016, and until he became president, 2016 to 2019, that's really the gist of the warrant of arrest. Mo na iyang kaso. it is crimes against humanity. I really do not know unsaon nila pag-present aning crimes against humanity. Kay indiscriminate ba ya ang killing supposedly sa crimes against humanity. And during the time of from 2016 to 2019 and maybe even wa kay ko'y knowledge what happened in Davao, but 2011 to 2016, but what we have seen around the Philippines was that si President Duterte naghimog so many rehabilitation centers for drug addicts. In other words, daily indiscriminate ang killing. So asa may naka-crime against humanity ani? 'Di ba?
According to what they're saying is there are about 19 plus 24
gamay ra kaayo.
43 cases, 43 individuals who are supposed to be the victims. But the claim therefore that it is 30,000 I think is a bit too much, because now they're saying that they just filed the other people here in the Philippines are saying it's just a representative sampling of the cases.
Yes, and that is not supported also by evidences.
Yes.
Unlike ang Vladimir Putin, he is also facing a warrant of arrest, but millions of people died in Ukraine because of his attack. So kana siya, that can be crimes against humanity, but I really don't understand asa dapita ang crimes against humanity and murder also.
Yes.
Murder should be premeditated. There should be motive. Where is premeditation here? Di ba? Kung premeditation, nagplano gyud unta si Digong nga mupatay aning mga tao tanan. But where's the premeditation
Dili pa gyud
there?
din ha. Ang gisulti pa gyud, he was the only one charged here. But he is not even a principal.
Correct.
Exactly.
Ang indirectly lang siya gi-charge. So the prosecution will have to prove that 1, the crimes were committed, 2, there were victims, 3, some people killed these persons, and 4, that President Duterte was the one who ordered the killings. Now I do not really know how they're going to do that.
Tanaw na ako, ang narrative manggod, nag-build up sila narrative towards EJK ba? Well, in fact, police operations manggod ang daghan adtong time na nilingkod ang si President Duterte. So karon gina-push din ng EJK na narrative nga like wala gito indiscriminate killing ng sa mga tao nga gid sa baana. Kaya para mo nang musulti sila karon nga nay crime against humanity.
Well, but it's ironic because the present conflict between Palestine and Israel in Gaza, there have been many more killed there, and yet
Exactly. But Netanyahu also is facing a warrant of arrest from the ICC.
Yes, but he has not been arrested.
Exactly, because Israel is also not a member of the
Exactly.
ICC. And dina ang atuang, the core of this problem, the core of this controversy is that why was President Duterte submitted to an international court even when we are not in the jurisdiction of that court?
Exactly.
And
in spite of the denials of the present administration saying that they will not cooperate with the ICC. In fact, if I remember, it's now circulating online the interview of Department of Justice Secretary Remulla saying that no, if the Philippines will not comply with that because they have to follow the processes here in the Philippines, which again did not happen, which is why I think people are calling it kidnapping or extraordinary rendition.
Okay, attorney, now let's go to the discussion diri karon sa pag-aresto kang PRRD. Now we have established the fact the Philippines withdrew from the ICC 2019, and as we speak 2025 karong mga panahon na when the arrest was conducted, dili nata membro sa ICC. That is a fact na kailangan nato masabtan. So now, because of that raised a lot of questions sa legality sa maong panghitabo. Even E.S. Villaldea in his opening statement sa ICC pre-trial described it as it was a pure and simple kidnapping, right? So why is that so, attorneys? From a legal perspective, what are the elements of the entire arrest procedure sa pangkahitabo nga matawag nato nga wa gyud to ni haom sa legal nga proseso, and that the former president was deprived of his constitutional rights? Do you think the country, no, with that premise ba, can we really lawfully surrender the former president to the ICC?
Well, we could lawfully surrender him, but it goes to the question of jurisdiction of the ICC. Now, according to the ICC itself and the Rome Statute, jurisdiction is acquired when the preliminary investigation has been finished. Okay. At the time that the preliminary investigation was finished, it was already 2021, 2 years after we withdrew. So, the ICC, it is our stand that the ICC no longer had any jurisdiction as of 2021. And yet, despite that, the ICC, through its prosecutor, continued the investigations. In fact, the Philippine government, through the Office of the Solicitor General, filed a notice of appeal and an appeal brief questioning the jurisdiction of the ICC. Unfortunately, I think it was composed of 5 judges. 3 judges voted that the ICC had jurisdiction, but the presiding justice and 1 other dissented and made their dissenting opinion known, saying that they did not have jurisdiction.
Pero nga, kung aware ang ICC anding by 2021 nahuman tong preliminary investigation. So why did murag nganon nila gidawat si kuan karon dito sa Hague?
Wala pa may hearing for that.
I see. Yeah, but why did they cooperate with the government na wala sila jurisdiction?
As of now, jurisdiction is not yet a question.
Okay.
They will discuss jurisdiction by September 23.
Yes.
So as of now, i-detain muna kaya na may warrant of arrest, and the prosecution in their prosecutorial brief said na the Philippines is now cooperating and is willing to hand in the President Duterte to the ICC. And so, once gani, although dili obligated ang Philippines nga mo submit ni Duterte ngadto sa ICC, pero once gani maka-acquire og jurisdiction ang ICC niya, then they will have to hear him because of the cases from 2011 to 2019. Pero ang problema ana is the way he was offered. First, he was served the warrant of arrest. Number 2, how he was offered to the ICC. These are jurisdictional problems already. And that can be the first question. Because if you cannot pass on how you were arrested, how the warrant of arrest was served, then that case can automatically be dismissed. Because, you know, the fruit of the poisonous tree.
Yes.
Mao man na siya. Di man na pwede mo discuss ta sa trial kung in the very first place sayop ang pagdakop.
Okay, ang fruit of the poisonous tree is, Attorney Regal is saying fruit of the poisonous tree. Ang pasabot ni Ana is, if the process by which the evidence or jurisdiction, evidence was gathered was illegal, then any evidence gathered as a result of the process is also considered illegal and cannot be admitted in evidence.
Okay.
Kana to siya.
Pero ako ba anong nag-participate gihapon ng ICC?
Okay, according to them, naman kuno sila jurisdiction from 2011 to 2019.
So gato lang ginaingon nga.
Kana, yes. Pero kita, di kita obligated. Kay 2019 upwards, di naman ta member. So, supposedly, yun, kung si President Duterte muadto og United Kingdom and UK is a member of the ICC, he can be arrested there. Dili din he.
Dili din higud. And also, supposed to be good, since 2019 pa na kita nag-withdraw, wala gyud dapat sila jurisdiction because that is really our stand. They have no jurisdiction. And in fact, the Philippines has been saying prior to the execution of the warrant of arrest, we will not entertain the ICC warrant of arrest. So it is really a great, how shall I say it, surprise that they did an about face. And in fact, it would appear nga beforehand pag yun, na sila, they were already in talks with the ICC for the issuance of the warrant of arrest.
Bisag si Bongbong Marcos, kapila na nigawas yung ba nga
Dili niya.
Di
niya i-respect ang jurisdiction sa ICC. Pero granting for the sake of argument, kung member pa lang ta sa ICC karon, if we're a member, di wa gyapoy jurisdiction ng ICC yor.
Exactly.
Why? Because we have laws. We have RA 9851. we have functioning prosecution. We have functioning courts. We have a Supreme Court that is still functioning. So, nganong kuhaon man ang kaso sa ICC? So,
Exactly.
di good pwede
Okay.
to begin with.
Okay, ang RA 9851 is the act on the Philippine law on international
On crimes.
humanitarian
Yes, humanitarian
international
laws.
humanitarian law, genocide and other crimes, against humanity. So kanana siya. So even under RA 9851, there already a provision saying na dili pwede ihatag ang jurisdiction kay dirisa. And even if there is already a warrant of arrest there, we still have to look at the applicable extradition treaties and laws.
Exactly.
Karon, we do not have an extradition treaty with the ICC because ICC is not a state.
It's not a state. Oh.
So, since we do not have an extradition treaty with the ICC, dili gyud siya dapat unta gihatag dito sa ICC. So, this one really is a rendition, a kidnapping, plain and simple.
So technically kidnapping yun siya.
Kidnapping without ransom.
Tinuda. Tinuda.
Yeah. Gikuha ba ya siya, ha?
Correct.
Forcefully, gisakay eroplano, and the airplane is even private, and then spent by the government. So this is, kidnapping made and
State-sanctioned
hosted
kidnapping.
by the government.
Yes. Kay ang nagbayad ba ni Ani daw, according to
Office of the
Niangkon
President.
sila.
ni DILG Secretary Remulla, it was the Office of the President. So, where did the money come from? It came from our taxes.
Correct.
Tama ka, Director, not to mention ba the other blatant violations dito during the arrest, no? For example, katong PRRD was deprived his right to counsel na klaro man to sa video, no? This is
Yes.
not as if nagi-buhat-buhat nato, but there was a video circulating nga FPRRD was asking for VP Sara as his legal counsel, but wala gipasulod.
And let me just clarify on that one, ha. Kay daghan kaayo bag mixed opinions all over online on that one nga kanang di man gid pwede si Sara mo represent ni President Duterte kay Sara is the Vice President and she is prohibited from practicing because of the ethical standards for public officers. Yes, that is true. Correct na. But the President can still request for a personal counsel.
Okay.
And a lawyer, once he takes his oath, once he passes the bar and accomplishes all the requirements from the Supreme Court, will never lose the status of being a lawyer. So, it is only, dili na ni Sara ang problema kung mo represent ba siya dili.
Sa korte.
Sa korte.
But unfortunately, she is not even representing him in court. President Duterte was asking for VP Sara, perhaps in her personal capacity as a
Exactly.
daughter and as a lawyer at the same
lawyer.
time. Pero dili pa na. Attorney Martin Delgra personally told me ang iyang barong nadaot because
He was grabbed, no?
he was grabbed and forcibly taken away while he was still talking to his client, which is a violation again of another RA, which gives people the right to talk to counsel freely without any intervention or obstruction. And yet, this was done. Second, ES Salvador Medialdia, gipusasan siya. Wala gipakita, but gipusasan siya at first, diri sa likod. Ginitore mismo. And then later on, while he was escorted out, gitangtang ang posas para unta pusasan sa atubangan, pero gitangtang na ang posas. Pero gipusasan siya for obstruction of justice. Ni
That we
General
didn't know,
Torre.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes! I do not know if you know that, but that is what happened.
But I think for most Filipinos now, no, across the globe who is questioning the entire process would makasabot gyud sa kaning atong ginahisgutan karon, attorney, no, and kana lagi what is clear based on this discussion is, number one, hindi miyembro ang Pilipinas sa ICC,
Yes.
which means hindi dapat isinuko si PRRD
Yes.
sa ICC.
That is established, yes.
That established. So, kaya nga itong lahat ng mga katanungan lumabas, no, surrounding the arrest. So, balikan ko lang ito nga yung stand nga ng gobyerno in many occasions, even the president himself said that he will not cooperate. And immediately after the former president was flown, no, outside the Philippines, press con siya, and he said that hindi naman the country, pinanindigan lang natin yung commitment natin sa Interpol, hindi sa ICC warrant. Yun yung kanyang sinabi that the government assisted the
Yun yung
arrest.
reasoning niya. Kaya nag-participate sila, di ba?
Correct. Because of the Interpol. Now, quickly lang, attorneys, para ma-educate ng ating mga kababayan, sino ba si Interpol at ano ba ang jurisdiction nila sa mga countries including the Philippines? At ano ang obligasyon natin sa Interpol?
Okay, Interpol is a transnational organization which is simply lahat ng mga police or law enforcement agencies all over the world. It has member agencies na they come together, they have a common pool so that in case of criminals in other jurisdictions outside the jurisdiction of a member country, they can access the database of other police jurisdictions. And that is just simply what Interpol is. But Interpol cannot enforce a warrant of arrest.
Okay.
It has a red notice. What is a red notice? It is only advisory to the members of the Interpol saying na, hey, can you please arrest this person?
Okay.
But they cannot say, we will arrest this person. Now, in the Philippines, Interpol is represented by the Philippine Center for Transnational Crime. Kaya, a representative was there when President Duterte was kidnapped. But he was not the one talking. Nasa background lang siya. It was General Torre talking. So, dapat dili unta si General Torre if Interpol indeed had jurisdiction and had the capacity to arrest President Duterte, but it does not. So, ang ginasulti sa Philippine government that they were only complying with the warrant of arrest issued by or the red notice issued by the Interpol. Kana dili gina tinuod. Kani I really printed this. Okay, nakabutang diri sa Interpol mismo. A red notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action. A red notice is not an international arrest warrant. Klaruhan lang na.
Yes, exactly. So, mao na pending extradition. In other words, kung naa gani warrant of arrest ang ICC, the Interpol would mandate nga kanang arrest warrant nga inyong issue iadto pa na sa court dinhi.
Local court.
Because kung mo extradite ta og tao, og criminal, mo adto man sa ta sa court. We will have to go to the local court first and then say the local court will determine if that warrant of arrest is accurate
Okay.
Or valid.
or valid na siya or legal ba na or regular. Now, wala na gibuhat pag-aresto nila ni PRRD.
No, I refuse to use the word arrest.
Pagkidnap.
Pagkuha nila kang
Oh,
PRRD.
Dito na itabo ang kidnap.
Yes. Because normally what happens is if there is a red notice and there is a warrant of arrest by the ICC, unta, the process should have been i-add to diri sa atong regular court, sa atong RTC, regional trial courts. And the regional trial courts will determine if the warrant is valid. And then only after it has rendered a decision that the warrant is valid, musulti sila, okay, you can arrest him now, you can bring him there. If there is an extradition treaty, but there is no extradition
Wala.
treaty.
Case in point lang ani nga nay extradition treaty, the Philippines and East Timor.
Okay.
Natay extradition treaty nila. Mao na atong kuanon si
Congressman
Teves. But the extradition treaty nga ato ang warrant of arrest gihir pa sa court sa East Timor karon. Until now wala pa nakuha nato si Congressman Teves.
Correct.
Kay that is supposed to be the legal process which they did not follow. That's why extrajudicial rendition was done against PRRD.
Yes.
Pangutan na. What if niabot ta sa korte? Niabot ta sa korte kay kinahanglan og kuan extradition.
Yes.
Okay. So tan-aw ninyo mo hold ba sa ang ilahang kuan ang kaso nila?
Para nako, kung maabot sa atong court, like ang naay jurisdiction atong time when he was detained there, was the Manila RTC, the Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court. Kung i-present tong warrant of arrest, balibaran gyud sila sa korte, Mayor. Why? Because moingon man gyud ang courts, we are still functioning. Why are we going to surrender the president to another international body? Ayaw sa, hear it here. If we feel that it is not We are not, di gud kaya sa atong judicial system. Kay maybe ang huwis gipatay ba while hearing his case, mga ana, kung di gud kaya, then that's the time that we will submit. That's the time that Section 17 will be applied. Kung di na gud kaya sa
So
Pilipinas.
that's why they were really on a hurry
Yes.
Exactly.
board the
Board the
president on the plane. and
Before
send him
the
to Netherlands.
before the Supreme Court could have issued a TRO. Karon, in an extradition case, the party requesting extradition will have to present their evidence here in our local courts, but it's in Manila, RTC Manila. They will have to present evidence in our local courts, and it could take years. In the meantime, President Duterte could have asked for bail. So, while the hearing is going on, because they will have to prove, the foreign state asking for extradition will have to prove that indeed the laws there and the laws here are the same. And so because the laws there and the laws here are the same, then we can extradite him there because similar ang atong laws. Now, also, according to Attorney Regal, but our courts here will not give him up. Why? Because of the principle of complementarity. Unsa
Yes.
man na. ICC can only govern if our laws here are not, if our judiciary, our law enforcement is not functioning. Now, because of what the Philippines did, the Philippine authorities did in surrendering, in kidnapping President Duterte and giving him to the ICC, does it mean that the Philippines no longer has a functioning judicial system? I violently object to that. Why? Because I believe and uphold the sanctity of the judicial functions here in the Philippines. Are they saying that we have already descended into chaos? I do not think so, because the Supreme Court is still functioning.
And this is where the whole thing is now. Mura Maginoo og gisurrender atong sovereignty by President Marcos to another country. So how is it? It's just like him saying that this state is not functioning anymore. So unsa naman data karon?
No, but if he's saying, if the implication there is, if he's saying that the state is not functioning, then how does that reflect on his administration?
Precisely. Wala na gid ni siya.
Dapat siya ang balikan sa ICC sa tinuod lang sa iyang ginabuhat.
Supposedly good.
Kay karon, this I do not have the data, no. But a lot of my friends are saying talamak na ang droga ngayon.
Pero klaro man siguro gid kay ning gibuhat nila karon nga it's all about politics. Politika kayo.
This is political.
September pa ang kuan, human ang election by then. So they just want to take out from the chessboard, no, from the equation. PRRD kay he's gaining traction.
Exactly.
And that's what they're afraid of.
You know, I truly believe na kabalo bitaw kaning, di ba you're talking about a chessboard? Kana ganing mamate na ka, ma-checkmate na ka,
Yes.
ilan na lang
Correct.
Kanang
Pinahubog
nila
na lang ba?
chessboard.
Hinubog na lang na style.
Very, like I have been saying, very Machiavellian ang ginabuhat nila karon. And with the disclosure of the ILG Secretary Remulla that the ones who orchestrated this was Secretary Anyo, Secretary Teodoro himself, and the President.
Where will that lead us, no?
Exactly. So it's like, now I understand why they have the capability to do this.
And I cannot understand why 4 people will decide that the sovereignty of the Philippines is null and void anymore.
Yes.
Pero kuya na siya ba, ito malaking issue ito. Kasi isipin mo, what is the position of Anyo right now?
And National
Security
National
Advisor?
Defense.
And
No, si Gibo ang National
Defense.
National
Defense.
Security Advisor.
NSA. Yes.
And
NSA siya.
how about Gibo?
Defense Secretary.
Defense Secretary.
National
And to add,
Defense.
si John Vic Remulla is
DILG. Unsa may labos
And all of
DILG?
these individuals participated in that.
The core.
Apparently.
Yes.
According
Diba?
to
According to Secretary Remulla, they are the ones who participated, which really comes as a very great shock. Because then you ask the question, considering that Secretary Anyo was also in the administration of President Duterte,
As DILG, no?
DILG, and not only that, when he retired, he was immediately given a position in government. And for, I think, all throughout the time that President Duterte was in office, Secretary Anyo was also in office. So, I really cannot understand why he would do this. I'm not saying that we should have patronage politics, no, but I just cannot understand knowing what went on during President Duterte's administration when everything really nahapsay yun ang Pilipinas as compared to now. So, I leave it up to you. I do not want to say more.
Thank you, attorneys. I think those were very good points that we've raised here, and we have more facts now. No, number one, balikan na ako tong Interpol. Interpol, yes, they exist, no, but an Interpol red notice is not an international arrest warrant to begin with. So dili pwede nga kato ang gamiton nga basihan nga mupunit og usa ka citizen dinhi sa Pilipinas. Number two, si Interpol muagi paghihapon will have to go through the local courts para ma-justify or ma-grant tong ilang request to extradite a particular citizen. Two facts, ladies and gentlemen, which the latter wala gyud na nahatag kay PRRD. And I think, Attorney Regal, your example kanang kay Congressman Teves, sakto gyud kayo na there's an ongoing extradition case, but tanawa dito Congressman Teves is still in East Timor. The case is being heard, no. So kana di na siya backup, mao na siya ang kamatuoran, Dabawenyo. So dirita karon, Mayor and attorneys, no, I think we've klaro naman yun, wala na may kailangan ilalis dito sa legalities ba sa pag-aresto, and we really hope that the ICC will also see that matter objectively the way we see us. Nakaidungag, Mayor, or pwede ko mo? Okay. Now, dinita karon sa remedies. Naa naman gyud to si PRRD, ana ba? Okay, sa laktod na pagkastorya, PRRD is now being detained dito sa ICC. Unsa ang iyang legal remedies prior to the confirmation of charges in September? What can the lawyers of PRRD do?
They can ask for his interim release. It's I think just so you can understand, no, it's similar to mga tag bail diri ba, but something similar like that. Although dili gid siya similar, but it's something like you ask for your release samtang wala pa gadagan ang kaso, and then even while the case is going on, you are out freely. Unfortunately, basin i-oppose gid na sa prosecution if we ask for an interim release, because they might claim that one, there's a possibility that he will flee, or two, that he could effectively tamper with the evidence, maybe by scaring people. Maybe that's what they're going to say, because that's what I think they're going to
I'm
go.
I'm sure they will do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will do that. But the interim release or ang bail manggod sa ICC, conditional kay na siya.
Yes.
So it could be that he will only be scot-free pero only in the Netherlands.
Yes.
Pwede po nga it can also include host countries like
Yes.
Germany and UK. Pwede siya makasuri-suri ditong dapita.
Or Norway.
Or Norway, ka ng mga host countries lang nga willing mo kuan niya. And pwede po siyang makauli sa Philippines. He can, depending on the ICC nga unsay interim release nga conditions niya. But then, nagyod na yung mga reportorial every month ba, kailangan siya mubalik sa ICC, etc.
Pero I understand that interim release is subject to the fact that for every hearing, dapat naa siya
Naagid siya.
dito. But because of his age and his medical condition, di ba gigrant naman tong iyang video conferencing, perhaps they will agree to that. But like I said, I
don't see na flight risk man si
I don't think
PRRD.
so. At his age,
at his age, I don't see that he will be running around and magtago-tago pa siya.
And he has always said that he is willing to face.
Exactly.
Diba?
And the fact that he went, ni sakay pa gana sa eroplano, I don't see, he willingly went there.
And I don't think he willingly went there. Kay giprotestahan man gid niya. But you see, he had no more choice.
Correct.
Exactly.
One, because of the overwhelming police force then. And second, the fact that he was alone. Duha ra gud sila ni Executive Secretary Medial Dia. I do not think they would have been able to get a guerrilla force, Dili man sila Rambo. No, so they had to really go. But he was protesting it all the way. But I do not think he is a flight risk at his age. No?
And he even said that you can kill me first. Those words coming out from PRRD, it hurts.
Correct.
Sakit.
Lagi. Attorney, tama lagi. Gaya sa gusto na ko puniton ito yung storya na during the pre-trial, he appeared via video conference. And that's why many of the netizens said nga, pwede man di ay mag-video call unta may pagwa na lang to gilupad diri na lang ba no sa kana lang nga storya ba. So here sa international scene, attorneys, maura to ang pwede nato buhaton for now, the application for the interim release.
Well, we do not want to know what other extra legal remedies the other persons are doing. No, I cannot speculate on that. But the legal remedies as of now is that.
Correct.
But at the same time, we have already filed, like I said, petitions for. There are 2 petitions for habeas corpus. I had the honor to file one for a very handsome mayor. Karon lagi ko kakita sa iya under the light, good no. Gwapo gid ya ikayo siya no. Okay, that's an aside ha. Okay. So, I had the privilege to file one for Mayor Duterte. Baste. And we are hoping that even if President Duterte is already within the jurisdiction of the ICC, there are still remedies available to us here.
Yeah.
Although, right now, let me just update you.
Go ahead, attorney.
The OSG has already filed a motion asking for its recusal. Ang recusal is for its murag inhibition ba nga, dili sila mo participate because their stand is that the ICC has no jurisdiction. That is clear, and I think it's already circulating online. Although, to be honest, I still have not received, our office still has not received a copy of that. Second, the OSG has also made another motion asking that it be withdrawn from the case as a party kay pati sila gifilean man namo, giuban man namo dito sa kaso namo. I can only speak for the case we filed. I cannot speak for the cases filed by the very able ex-presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo and the case filed by Dean Israelito Torion. So, as of now, kana gyud. And just this evening, I was able to receive a compliance from, consolidated compliance from all the other respondents, including E.S. Bersamin and all the rest. So, I still have not had the chance to look at it, but naa na sila i-file na compliance.
Attorney Dinah, with these 2 manifestations karon ni OSG, number 1, the manifestation for recusal, and the other one katong to be include sa kaso, what does this mean sa inyong habeas corpus nga petition or sa kaso in general aning sa case ni PRRD?
Well, the first thing that came to mind when I saw this was, oops, it appears that the government does not have its act together. Because, one, according to Secretary Remulla, Secretaries Anyo, Teodoro, Remulla, and the President kidnapped PRRD and brought him to the ICC. And yet now, the OSG, which is also under the DOJ, is saying, no, the ICC has no jurisdiction. So, it really leaves the impression of a fragmented government now. That's one. Second, the fact that the OSG has asked to be recused would show that they do not want to take part here as the lawyer of the government because sila magid ang official lawyers of government. So karon, when I looked at the compliance na gibuhat sa other respondents, it was somebody from the DOJ who I think an undersecretary who signed as lawyer for the respondents, which is again funny because the DOJ has under it the Office of the Solicitor General. Kaya funny ba? So it's going to be the DOJ infighting among themselves based on what I see now.
Attorneys, has this happened before? Nga ang OSG di gusto manghilabot sa kaso sa gobyerno?
Because the OSG is not the lawyer of the not just the lawyer of the government, it's the lawyer of the people.
Okay.
So ang nahitabo diri, there have been cases where the OSG has sided not with the plaintiff or the petitioner where it is supposed to side, but has actually sided with the other side.
Yes.
Okay.
It has tried to be very fair, ha. So, although I will be surprised at the nahitabo diri na they did that because this is a case of transcendent national importance and even global importance. So, I would just like to salute the courage, the moral courage
Of the OSG.
of the Solicitor General Guevara on this and his people.
Basig gikapoy na pud siya no kay katupong the
Yeah.
last time siya
Oral
nagkuan siya sa intahon dito sa Supreme Court wa enta siya katubag ni Justice Amy ba naglisod intahon siya dipinsa na gid ani nga state, and I think this is the right time that he has to speak up because he, as you said, he made already the appeal brief previously. So, pero
Just
pait when the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. So,
They can
mo
clap.
na ning nahitabo karon. They cannot.
okay. When the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing, you know what that is? It appears the brain is not functioning, so there is a lobotomy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And ang palagid ana, they don't have clean hands.
Okay.
The attorney, if I may intervene, I think one very good, not very good, but one point dito sa manifestation na gisulti sa Office of the Solicitor General is that they stand firm, no? Ang ilang justification ba why they're inhibiting is that they stand firm with their belief that the government has no legal obligation to cooperate with the ICC nor recognize any process emanating from the ICC following the effectivity of the country's withdrawal from the Rome Statute. So, attorney, kami nga nganong tao magpasabot ani murag ning pwede ba siya nga murag gisulti siya nga mali gyud ang gibuhat atong pag-aresto?
Mura jud din ana. Because I'm sorry, the beautiful attorney Regal was mentioning about the appeal brief. Ang summoning appeal brief basin wala mo nakasabot. The appeal brief was filed by the Philippine government through the Office of the Solicitor General, signed by Solicitor General Guevara, where they appealed the decision of the ICC pretrial chamber ba to, saying that dili dapat unta, we really did not fall under the jurisdiction of the ICC. However, this was denied. And out of 5 justices lagi, 3 voted na we are under the jurisdiction of the ICC, but 2 dissented. So, ang appeal brief dito, very clear man yun.
This
Nag-cite
appeal
sila.
brief was filed to the ICC.
ICC. And this was very clear. Nag-cite instances dito si Solicitor General Guevara na, hey, our courts are functioning. In fact, these are the cases we filed. These are the investigations pending as of now. Daghan gito. So perhaps he did not want to, how do we call it, go against himself if he will file an appearance and represent the respondents in this case, because he has already filed an appeal brief saying na wala jurisdiction ng ICC.
And that might be the reason of the recusal, because one of the reasons gyud nga mo inhibit ang OSG is one, conflict of interest, number 2, kung ethical. For them, it will be unethical for the lawyer to persist with the case. Unethical, magud human naman sila file ani. And they have already made a stand. So, if they still continue to pursue the case, murag wa goodness, murag unsa naman din ning OSG. So, they might just be one of those people gihapon nga ma-question yun nato ang unsa asa magid ang inyong unsa man loyalty, heart and brain gibutang.
Pumunta na ba kung, di ba? With all that transpired sa kaning kidnapping sa akong amahan. Unsay sala sa mga taong involved ani, and di ba kasi Remulla, si Anyo,
What's the possible legal ani?
na ba sila na ba sila kaso ani tanan? Silang gibuhat, silang involvement sa kuan?
Well, actually, if tinuod tong gisulti ni Remulla and ni Secretary Remulla, and I would believe so, I think against the president, this could be a betrayal of public trust.
Yes.
Because he gave up the sovereignty of the Philippines to the ICC when his stand before was dili wala gyoy jurisdiction ng ICC. Second, but because he has parliamentary immunity as of now, he can be impeached, but unfortunately, and this is a fact of politics, karon it's the House of Congress is being held by Marcos and his cohorts, including Speaker Romualdez. So, as of now, that would be impossible. However, with respect to the others, like si Secretary Anyo, Remulla, and Teodoro, pwede ma-filean sila og kaso for kidnapping, including General Torre. Kidnapping, serious illegal detention. Also, at the same time, maybe anti-graft.
Anti-graft. Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew.
Attorney Dinah, balikan lang nako since niambak ta sa discussion ba dito sa petition na yung gi-file
sorry, good. Okay.
makasabot lang po di ay.
Dili mag-discuss magyapon ta atong mga kuan.
Unsa ang ginasik nato sa Supreme Court sa atong gusto mahitabo nga unod atong petition.
Sa habeas corpus na
Habeas corpus.
I can only talk about my case because I do not have the authority to talk about others, and I will not presume because they
Kay
are
pending ba siya?
Oo, they might be even better than me katong nag-file og lain. I can just relate factually we are asking the court unta to issue a writ of habeas corpus para i-bring nila ang body ni President Duterte before the court. And katog yun, basically that's just what we were asking, to bring him there and at the same time dili na siya pagawason.
Okay.
However, I do not know what the Supreme Court will do now, considering that they have asked the respondents to comply. So, let us see what the court will rule on. I refuse to think that, or even assume that I can read the minds of great legal minds of the Supreme Court justices. I will not presume.
Because as of now, they have not issued the writ.
Yes.
Kaya kanig yung writ of habeas corpus, mora gid na, meaning ana, bring the body. So, I think they're also in a quandary right now. Kung mingon ang Supreme Court nga, bring the body here, human, mag-issue lang sila writ without a power. Without, kana bang walay teeth nga writ. Kay, unsaon nila pag bring the body when it's like, they cannot command an international court to do what they want to.
happen.
Because di man po part sa Supreme Court sa ilang jurisdiction ng ICC.
Correct.
So, mo na problema ani, even if they will issue that writ of habeas corpus, can we implement that against the ICC and tell the ICC, you bring the body back to the Philippines because we want to see the body? I think the ICC will not submit to that too. So, this is a diplomatic na siya nga issue now. This is a controversy on diplomacy between two courts, the Supreme Court and the ICC.
Correct. Then, that is actually the pinaka-common na question sa atong mga kaigsuonan, no, is that once mag-grant ng atong petition for kanang sa habeas corpus nato, masunod ba na, mag-take effect ba na kana gyud ang pangutanan nila?
But you know, even if let us say the issuance of the writ of habeas corpus is moot, or as I would like to say, mute and epidemic, moot and academic, okay. Still, this case, I think, is of transcendental national importance because it is the very first time that this has happened. I think even on an international level. So, really, you know, there is actually a silver lining in what happened to President Duterte's kidnapping because now it has been brought to the forefront, one, the actions of this present administration. Second, the fact that whether or not the ICC really has how do you call this, jurisdiction over cases where the state is not, where a state or a government or a republic is not a member already of the ICC. So, that's why I think there is also kanang ugong gani kayo sa international scene.
And to add, natay functional good na
Exactly.
Nga justice system.
Justice system.
Actually, Mayor, and actually, Attorney, nahadlok yun ang other states, ani, especially the non-member states of what's going on. That's why even now, China already issued a statement about, warning the ICC and that they're watching the ICC on what's going on because it can have very serious implications, not only to the Philippines but also to other countries who are not even members of the ICC. Nga pwede rin silang dakpon anytime sa ilang country. And then i-deliver nga to and humana.
Oo.
Oh, because this is the first time
That it
in the
ever
history
happened.
of ICC nga nahitabo ni nga nay gibutan nga to nga dili member sa ilang sa ICC.
Ang implication mong good din is based on principles of international law, even if you're not a party to the Rome Statute, you are not a state party, you are a non-member country, this can already be used. If there is going to be a decision by the ICC, this can already be used and cited in other jurisdictions, in other countries, which is why grave yun kaayo ni. This is really of great importance, not just to the Philippines, but to the world.
Correct. The entire world is actually watching, listening, and following the developments of this particular case.
Diri makita nato ang unsa kalapad ang jurisdiction sa ICC, unsa kalapad po ilang discretion when it comes to taking jurisdiction from from future criminals in other territories ba.
As against national sovereignty. Okay.
Which is very, very important ang national sovereignty.
But I have to give it to President Duterte. No matter where he is, he is really a person who who causes change.
Yeah.
Causes change.
That silver lining, I would have to
Yes,
agree.
that's the silver lining there.
For legal study, and I don't want him to be the guinea pig in this one, ha?
God forbid.
But for legal study and legal, kuan lang gid siya, for jurisprudences, to enrich our legal minds, this could be a very great case. But then again, I'm just very sad that it is him who is subjected to this hulabaloo.
Okay, let me just tell you, I will make this confession online. I have been crying since Sunday. That's why I did not join the march. Kay, basin mo hilak na pud ko dito, mo breakdown ko. I have been breaking down since Sunday. Gahapon, nya karon na pod. Just to get it out of my system. Just to clarify, my crying is not because of, my crying is because of rage. Rage against what this government has done to him. Rage that the rule of law is not being followed. So, but we cannot do anything, and I refuse to give in to my rage. So I am trying to find in my heart the peace, gani. But it's difficult. And I think many Filipinos, many Dabawenyos feel the same. Kanaganing feeling ninyo, inutil mo, wa mo'y mabuhat. And to do that to a beloved person of Davao City.
And Attorney D, Davao is not alone. Ha? I have to tell you, even in our locality sa Cebu, grabe yun.
Salamat.
That rage we share with you.
Salamat. Because then, to know that we are not alone is something that is, how do you call this? Shared grief is better shared.
Not
Grief is
only
better
because
shared.
of Tatay Digong, no, but it's really the president surrendering our sovereignty to others. It's really the president, telling the world that we are a weak nation. That we cannot anymore exercise judicial functions to other people. Ingon anak ka weak atong justice system.
Kana gyud.
As a lawyer, sakit kaayo nga mo. We've been trying to defend our laws, defend our justice system, and then mora po din ni mahitabo.
So masuwayan gyud diri ang justice system sa Pilipinas.
I hope so, no? Karon as of now, they surrendered naman nga wala may justice system. So
No, Attorney,
but
I would just like to
refuse
clarify.
kuwan,
Attorney Regal is not saying that the justice system here is inutil. What Attorney Regal is saying is that it is the administration that has surrendered and giving the appearance of weakness to the international community. But ako, I stand firm that our judiciary is a robust system. It is thriving. In fact, it is very vital. It is doing things now that has never been done before.
I agree.
And it's keeping up with the standards ba. Despite the fact that there was a pandemic, I think that the judiciary now is very viable and the system is viable. It's just that the perception given by the government that surrendered him is very disheartening when kita Filipino ta lupang hinirang niya murag wala matay lupang hinirang.
Correct. We all share that grief and rage, Attorney Dinah. No, many of us share that, and gaya ng sinasabi natin, at this point, we need to use that grief and sadness to continue pushing forward, to work together in bringing PRRD back home. Mayor, would you like to add
I
something?
know how they feel, Manggod. Kay bisag ako ba, sa gobyerno, pag yung makita mo yung mga tao na walang tiwala sa inyo, masakit. It's like you're there for nothing. You don't have a purpose. Ana gina siya.
And mo nag-feeling sa mga tao pod karon, Mayor. I would dare say that majority of the Filipinos are now feeling that way.
Well, Attorney Regal, we just have to look at the reactions across not only in the Philippines but the entire world. Filipinos gathering, speaking up, really doing their share also. And I think,
I think there have been ilang rally, mga 60 plus since.
Correct. And hindi pa tumitigil, Mayor,
And not only rallies, mga lightning rallies, Mayor. Like for example, mag-program lang, like mag-basketball, and then kung mag-invocation diya mo, kalit nagsagit, Duterte. These are things that, these are symbolism of people telling the administration that they are not happy with what they did.
Exactly.
Well, they can all downplay this gatherings all they want, no, but we know for a fact na people are not happy good with what's happening. Nahurot naman ang akong talking point sa discussion nato, but before tamo end, gusto lang nato istoryahan pod kaning if pwede, gusto niyo isgutan inyong komento aning pagpatawag ron ni Senator Amy Marcos og hearing in aid of legislation to question daw, imbestigahan ang pagdakop kay PRRD. Napa ba ni siya bearing, importante pa ba niyo unsa bay tanaw ninyo ani attorneys?
Well, sa leader naman nila di ay. I do not know. Ano yung mga abogado to
Will that still be helpful, attorney? Legally speaking.
For whatever it is worth, no? If she is able to call people and establish a hearing on that, gather evidence, we can use that man.
No.
Yeah, because what she's trying to call now is in aid of legislation.
Exactly.
And if there are things that weakened the laws that are existing right now, especially 9851, and we saw very well that it has this incident has weakened this law, then maybe if that investigation can strengthen the law and can put more barriers and protect our citizens, then that might be helpful. But I don't know if this is sincere.
That's the question, because there is a difference between the viability of the hearings as against the sincerity
Yes.
of the act.
No, ang magud highly political magud ng Senate magud. So it can be, they can have their own angle, 'di ba?
True.
They just build a narrative using the Senate especially with this woman.
Correct. For all we know, basig ending anang hearing nila nga sakto tanang proseso.
Sakto si Torre, sakto si...
Diba?
Exactly. So,
And we all know, ha?
Wala
We
man
through
na.
live ko. Yeah, that's true.
but we don't know. As of now, we don't know. But ako, for whatever it is worth, if it will proceed, let us see what will happen. But I really am on the fence about this. Sa tinuod lang.
Well, personally, as a Filipino na sa Dabawenyo, ang ako lang yung pangutan attorney no, na now you're conducting this, where were you sa dihang ginapangkahitabo ang pagkuha ng PRRD?
Yeah.
You were all quiet. And now, seeing the reaction of the people, na natay investigasyon pinakalit.
Especially considering that it is election and
Well,
campaign
sige lang,
time.
no? We will tanawan nato asa dagan.
I think kana manggong that's why they want to do that, because if they may seem to appear on the side of
President Duterte.
President Duterte, then they could get makuha nila lahat yung all those people who are talking now was out on the streets.
And to think, Mayor, this is what's happening right now, especially from where I come from. Not everybody supported your papa's war on drugs.
Really good.
Right now, it's all about people going out and supporting prayer rallies, not because of the extrajudicial killings. It's or they support Duterte. They're out there because they're threatened with what's happening, because President Marcos just surrendered our sovereignty to the ICC or to a foreign body or to a foreign national. And this is a danger. Kung musulti ta sa una nga, President Duterte was like, surrendering our sovereignty to China. This time, it's a person that we surrendered. It's a symbol, a person who's very, very symbolic. Atong gisurrender nga to sa ICC. So, this is worse. And that's why people are going out. No, they might say that if we have to try Duterte, let's try him here. Let's hear him here, because we have a justice system that exists. Anong ipagawas pa man?
It's our sovereignty ba? It's our being a nation nga gi-call into question naman good, and that strikes very deep. Because it is our national identity that is already being hit by this act that was done So, sakit jud kaayo. Because ako, for me, when I go out of the country, there is always a part of me that is tense. Because I am not on Philippine soil. But the moment I step on Philippine soil, maski di na lang sa tarmac, gani, kanang mubaba ang akong tiil sa tarmac, muragi ko I'm now
Mubalik ang
home.
confidence nimo, no?
Oh, I am now home. There is something in the air, something intangible that says, this is my home. And that is what I feel was violated. And so it really strikes at the heart of the Filipino character.
Because what the people need to know also, Attorney D, is that, you know, let's go back to basics. The elements of a state. People, kailangan og tao ang usa ka state. Second, we need a territory. You know, the Philippines, the archipelago is our territory. We have it's being
Exactly.
stated in the Article 1 of the 1987 Constitution. The third, the one is ang atong people when we have the government. So we have a valid government now, and that's a presidential form of government. And the fourth is sovereignty. Without sovereignty, what should not? You cannot have a state anymore. It's not functioning anymore. And that is what murag gipagawas ni BBM nga what tay sovereignty. So what are we? Unsa man nga state? Anybody can just come here, conquer the Philippines. Well, I think Luzon already, you know, sees us as really very varied, di ba? Para nila, they are Southern European, whereas,
Ayan na tayo.
di ba? Sakit ba? Sakit. Nga naingon ana nga concept. So,
attorneys, I think, sa laktod nga pagkastorya ba, no, kitang mga pobre o gyano ron, kung nabuhat to nila sa former president, na kapasidad unta mo kang ugado, how much more nga kaya nila nang buhaton sa ato. And I think, mauna ang kabalakan.
exactly.
Kana, nga storya gani, there are now people jokingly, no, saying, kung magpa-blatter ko, asa man kumupile, diri sa amo, sa dahig na kumuadto. nga storya ba. And so people really understand the danger ba, no? Angay kabalakan.
It's creating a state of instability in the minds of the Filipino people. Nga naman, it's like, do we still have a functioning government? Kay the fact na musulti sila, asa mi magpa-blatter, simple fact lang nga, blatter lang nga, that's a common crime by the common people. And the fact na mabuhat nga lagi nila to a former president who had very strong political will. So now, ang takot ng mga tao, what is next?
Correct.
Kailangan, kung mo na lang din na, kung tanang drug lords na lang sa Pilipinas, atong isan nga sa dahig na lang, if that's the case. Because it seems that the government has surrendered already their ability to prosecute, to investigate, and to hear trials.
Sila
So,
maglalis.
adto tanan na lang adto ihatag na lang sa ICC. Ang kailangan small claims na lang din ni Attorney D.
But then, I will not call myself a Filipino anymore.
Exactly. And that's what we're losing now, the identity of being Filipino. This little pride that we have ba, that strength that we have nga, you know, we stand up and we call ourselves Filipino, and we're losing that identity because our president is not protecting it.
It's true. And you know what's really inspiring pagyud-ani nga despite him, the former president, being detained dito, ang iya gyapong sulti sa mga tao is, you know, maging kalmado, and that there nagyurit kuning moabot gyud ang adlaw.
Amutuo man pud
Pero,
kita na Harms, no.
parang nako lang, no, kanang, ako nga tao ba, kanang, di mo ko abogado, mo ko'y, kasabot ko, pero di na ko ma-articulate kung sakit ang ilang ginapangingon po. Tanaw na ko, tungod lang gihapon na itong GAA o BICAM report lang gihapon. Mo ni response gid nila.
If you notice before, this is the pattern that the government, that the present administration is doing. If there is something na we question, buhat na po sila glain para ma-divert ang attention. This time, because there is already a Supreme Court case on the GAA, na pa yung mga lain, gina-question on the PhilHealth. So karon, this is what they did to divert the attention of the people. But please, do not forget about that to the Filipino people out there. Please be reminded that the question is not only about how to bring back former President Duterte, but also as to our national budget, as to what is happening to our social security system, ang atong PhilHealth ba?
PhilHealth.
Karon, because this is the only thing na that the poor and the lowly can run to nga mabawasan ang ilang bayad.
Our malasakit centers as well. It's
Exactly.
a law. It's a law, ha? There's supposed to be an automatic appropriation for malasakit centers, and they did not appropriate anything. So these are, we have to also protect, by April 1 and 2, we have
The
to
oral arguments. are
tune
set.
in on the oral arguments because
Oo, please
That's
do not forget, April 1 and 2. Do not
Tama.
forget, sa Supreme Court.
Naglisod sila tubag eh. Naglisod sila tubag.
Tama
So,
gyud.
so
Sakto na.
karon we should bring it back to that narrative because they are trying to veer it away from that narrative. So let's bring it back.
No, sa same gyapon atong panawagan, nasaan ang enrolled bill o gibalik ang kwarta sa PhilHealth. So di nato na kalimtan na
Mo lagi
mga
mo nang politika gini.
tanan.
Politika gini.
Tama.
Kaya so sinugdanan man god ilang gina-accuse ang ako ang igsuon nga diya sa Congress kanang kuan nga nangawat kag kwarta. Ina karon og giingnan mo na mo asa man ning kwartahan eh. Saan man yung pera na sinasabi niyo may kinuha kami pera yung kapatid ko may kinuha na pera. Itong pera na ito nasaan? Tapos ngayon di nila masagot. So yung reaction nila, sige, ganun di kidnapin namin tatay mo, puta. Dala ka doon sa Hague. Oh.
And
magmukha
nganong
kayong-
imura mang igsuon ang gi-question ra pod yun.
Nagipod.
Di ba sa
Ana,
kadaghan nakadawat og confidential funds? Ganun siya raman.
Tinuod lang. Ako gani, namo ko yung mga certain ako ng mga sorties ba maingon man ko nga. Kung tinuod yun kung totoo yung if you want reform the government, then it has to start with the head. Di ba? Ang chief
Yes.
executive. Kung gusto na ako, I want everybody to be, wala na yung confidential funds. Let's eradicate this. Wala na. It will start with me. Kung sincere gyud ka sa imuhang, with what you want to happen. Ana naman nakasimple.
Confidential funds.
Dili nimo i-single out ang isa
Correct.
ka tao. Gusto nimo nga walay confidential funds because you believe nga ginasayang ang kwarta sa tao, dili siya well appropriated, then you start with yourself. Kay ikaw gud ang pinakataas. Para tanan mo sunod sa ubos nimo.
And confidential funds niya 4 billion ha.
Kinsa?
President.
Marcos.
Oh, yes.
Naman kang VP is only 120 million. So
And there was a
Nobody's
COA
questioning.
report.
and everybody's questioning that.
No, pero there was a COA report, di ba? Giving her the highest approval rating. So, asa to?
Gani, mo bitaw na nga why would that be part of the articles of impeachment? Nga. Ginoo ko.
Ay,
Ayaw
anyway.
wala pa ganila na answers ko
Kuyaw lagi.
Bati kayo.
Last year pa ko gayaw-yaw ani.
Politika ra ginitanan Mayor Baste.
Mao lagi na di na nato matag na unsay tinuod ug unsang proseso ilang gina-follow, and I would agree sa imong earlier statement, Mayor, no, nga at this point we need
Kabalo
to be
ka nung kapoy kay mo trabaho gobyerno ning ana imong amo
mao
sa
lagi.
taas.
Mao lagi.
Murag appeal ka ba? Murag sa man eh.
Kuan pa gyud Mayor kana bang if you're the president of the Philippines, ikaw man untay supervisor sa tanan mayor, gobernador, barangay captains, underbill nimo tanan.
Ikaw ang ehemplo.
But none in his 3 years as president, wa pa gyud siya nakapatawag og meeting sa mga mayors,
Mao ba?
sa mga governors.
Wala.
Wala. Yara nang gipasagdan. Look at governors, mayors, mayors of municipalities, barangay captains, they're being suspended left and right.
Exactly.
He never lifted a finger to protect them. I have not heard a single mayor being suspended during the time of President Duterte because he was protecting everybody on the ground.
Pero
Unless,
daghan.
unless,
Not only during my father's time. Way before.
Yes.
Wala gid ko yung
Karon,
mahigdugtuman,
gipang-suspend.
gisuspend na gobernador, gisuspend na mayor.
dismiss.
So that's why this is causing a lot of questions about political instability gani. There is a sense that the Philippines is in a state of flux, nga everything is very fluid. And so I think that also that was heightened when President Duterte was kidnapped. Kay everything is in flux. Ang funds can be transferred indiscriminately. GAA, PhilHealth. Ang mga mayors, even governors can be suspended for whatever reason there may be.
For
diba?
the most minute
reason. And then karon the police are not being used in accordance to how they are supposed to be used.
Exactly.
So all these things ba, they come together. And when they all come together, that cherry on top yun, the straw that broke the camel's back was the
Arrest.
kidnapping of President Duterte. So kana karon, that is why the people now want stability. The people are asking, where are we going?
I don't
Asa ta
think he can
padulong?
give that. BBM, hindi na niya mahatag.
I cannot answer that. That is only a question I am bringing
Pero,
out now.
It's me. Wala na. Nilampas na siya. It's way beyond that already nga. Tarong pa ninyo.
Thank you, Mayor and attorneys. Before we close the discussion, since we have two lawyers here, Mayor, para i-appeal na lang po nato ni sa pagpasabot sa atong mga kaigsuunan, labi na diri sa Davao City. Kay karon na istorya nagagawas nga si PRRD, since he's detained, is disqualified na isip kandidato pagka mayor. Attorney, from a legal perspective, unsay kamatuoran ang istoryaha sa status karon sa kandidatura ni PRRD isip mayor sa Davao City?
Okay, even under international law, an accused is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So, he has not been proven guilty yet. In fact, wala pa gani nag-start ang trial. So, he can still be elected by the people. It is only when he becomes convicted that he is disqualified. But as of the present, dili pa siya disqualified. Kasi September pa ba ya ang hearing,
Confirmation
next
charges.
hearing. So that is after the elections already. So, he can still run. And this is already, I think, stated by COMELEC Chairman Garcia that he can run.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that,
Yeah.
Would you like to add that?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
So I think that's another fact, Dabawenyos, no? Si PRRD is still a candidate for the mayority post diri sa Davao City o pwede gyapon nato siyang butuhan. Dili mawala iyang pangalan sa balota. So kana klaro.
tanaw na ko ni istorya dayon to si Comelec para di na siya maipit ni
Maipit.
Marcos. Sige, una niya.
Di siya maipit ni Romualdez. Si Romualdez mo ginagsigikuan niya.
Anyway, Mayor and attorneys, we've covered all the discussion points that I prepared this evening. Unless there are other things na you think wa pa nato naisgutan or gusto nato ipaklaro sa atong mga kaigsuunan sa ating listeners regarding PRRD.
I have a message for the Filipino people and to the Dabawenyos. Please pray for peace. We are in a new age now. I believe in the new age theories that we are already in the age of Aquarius, and it's supposed to be that love that prevails. So I am praying for peace and healing of this wounded land, this wounded and broken country. So please, to the Filipinos, if we collectively pray for peace, if we collectively pray for healing, I think healing will come, but we do not know what form it will take, but I am hopeful that healing will come if we all pray for peace for this country.
Thank you, Attorney Dinah. I think murag closing naman tano. Before we end, magpasalamat lang gid mi usab, Attorney Dinah, for your usual support and for sharing your knowledge and expertise diri sa mga karon. Attorney Regal, I know you're very busy dito sa Mandawi City karon, no, sa pag-atiman pod sa atong mga kaigsuonan dito ug nakahatag yung kag panahon nga mo adto diri your message.
All for Mayor Baste, all for the Duterte family, of course.
Salamat. You're always welcome in Davao City.
Yes.
May I add something?
Go ahead, Attorney Dinah. Sorry.
I would just like to say that I have seen Attorney Regal online, no? And I have always admired her and her views. And to see her now in person, murag bucket list check gani.
Ay, wow, Attorney D. Thank you,
Oo.
thank you.
Balikan ako, Attorney Regal, your message to our fellow Filipinos labi na dito sa Mandawi City pod ato mga kaigsuonan.
Yeah. Foremost, we're very, very happy that we were among the last cities to have been visited by President Rodrigo Duterte during the Maisog rally. And then we were so proud, no, of him being there, and that is why Mandawi Hanons are in unison and in unity to protect whatever legacy he has left for the Filipino people. And for everybody, no, sa atong tanan din ha nga nagtanaw, I hope nga I just pray for sobriety, but when it comes to fighting for the nation, let us not keep quiet. Let us not remain in the dark and just accept whatever fate we have, because we as a nation have been known by the whole world that we will fight for democracy, we will fight for freedom, and we will always fight for our beloved country. And that is what we are, where we are now. We need to stand up and tell the world that we are a strong nation.
Thank you, Attorney Regal, no, gatong pagtimbaya pod sa atong mga kaigsuonan dinha sa Mandawi, Cebu. Maayong adlaw kaninyo. At this point, Mayor, I know you nana kay mga na storya, no, bahin ani mapahitabo. But if there's anything you want to say, ilabi na mayor, sa mga tao karon sa tibuok kalibutan nga padayon nga gawas o speak up bahin sa ilang sentimento kani sa nahitabo kay PRRD.
Una, mapasalamat ko sa Attorney Dinah o Attorney Regal Oliva. Tama ba ko?
Yeah.
Salamat kayo sa inyong pag-guest diri sa mo ang kuan. Sa mo show, sa mo podcast para ma-inform ang mga tao, makibaw sila, makasabot sila sa sitwasyon gyud ug unsay nahitabo, no, sa akong amahan. Sa karon, gusto po ko magpasalamat sa mga tao nakapalibot nako. Kamo, ikaw, Harvey, ang crew, tanan, pati ko mga katabang, o nabilin ako mga security. Mga amigo nako, salamat ko. Kina sila, naamo diri, nagasuporta gyapon mo sa mua. Lisod gyud kaayo sa. Lisod kay sa nga sitwasyon nga kanang gina-single out mo sa usa ka presidente. Di ba? Kanang kuan ba kanang targeted mi ba? Bugat kayo ang mga kuan, ang sitwasyon karon. Kanya usay pag mumata ko gatuo ko gani ko nga damgura dili di ay tinuod gyud ay ni tanan. Tinuod di pa. Wala gyud ako na imagine na moabot ning aning klaseng sitwasyon sa akong kinabuhi, no, kay sulod ko politika kabalo mo ko naa maging problema pero dili ingon ani kagrabe. So sa mga tao sa nga nagagawas, salamat kayo sa inyo ha. Karon nakita gyud nako nga unsa ka kuan gyud well loved ang ako ang papa. Kita na to nga dili lang labi na mga OFW kay kani sila mga basic na mga tao. Nani sila yung mga trabaho pero naa sila dito, nanggawa sila dili na ko ba imagine gyud na ingana nga klaseng suporta sa mga tao. Wala ko nag-expect pod gyud sa tinuod lang nga mubuhato na nila para sa akong papa. So kita gyud nako nga well loved gyud kay akong papa. So probably na gyud sa inhimong tama para sa tong nasod. Ang kaning sitwasyon tanaw nako kabalo mo di ko moingon nga desperado ko, di mo ko nahadlok ninyo. Tinuod lang bisag unsaon. Bisag pagpatyon ko ni wala ko ana. Nisod ko aning trabaho ani gusto nako nga nakoy mahatag to society or sa bisag diri sa syudad o nakoy ma-offer sa mga akong constituents, mga Pilipino. It's either to inspire o mahimo kong ehemplo sa inyo ha. Pero kaning ingon ani nga klaseng gobyerno, well, I'm a student of political science. Kay bawo ko kung asa ang gobyerno when too much is too much already. So ayaw gyud mo expect nga mo atras ko ani. Ginasulti na ako sa inyo. Bisan pag unsaon ko ninyo, di ko ninyo mahadlok. Kaya tan-aw na ko, from my own point of view, naagyo mo'y sayop. Ayaw mo expect nga di ko musukol ninyo. Bisan pag ingani na lang, karong gamay na lang. So, I'm sorry kung suko ko, Atty. Dinah wants peace and healing. Pero, di ba, this is how I feel. And, siyempre, amahan ko na. Nagibuhat na ninyo sa akong amahan.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. And we are with you all the way, Mayor. Daghang kayong salamat. Again, Attorney Dinah, Attorney Regal, thank you very much for joining us. And sa ato mga kaigsuunang Dabawenyo, daghang kayong salamat sa pag-uban kanamo sa ato na pong isa ka episode sa Basta Dabawenyo. Sa lahat ng Pilipino at lalo na po sa mga OFWs na patuloy na tumututok at sumusuporta sa ating programa at sa bansang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po sa inyo at naway nasa mabuti po kayong kalagayan sa mga oras na ito. Ang disiplinadong Dabawenyo mahadlukon sa Ginoo. Ang disiplinadong Dabawenyo padayong mobarog alang sa luwas ug paspas na pag-uli ni PRRD diri sa Davao City. Makinahuron, mahigugmaon ug maisog. Basta Dabawenyo.